Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. I'm here with our one and Ona. Ona,
Hello, hello, hello.
greetings from
Chicago.
Chicago. I cannot wait to visit Chicago. I have wanted to visit Chicago for years, eat steak and drink bourbon. I don't drink
Okay.
bourbon.
All
I don't
right.
drink bourbon, but I'm willing to try a little bourbon, and I definitely eat steak. You
Okay. All right. We'll take you to Rosebud.
I love it already. I
Yeah.
love it
All
already.
right. Steak. Oh my
So we're here at Moon Shadows, and um, we spoke for like an hour and 26 minutes for the Moon Shadow for Gemini,
God.
and that was a long time. I did get a complaint or two, but I don't, this is a conversation about how we're experiencing
Yeah.
the energies, and it is astrological, but it's also magical, and I think, and relational, and I think that's the magic of Moon Shadows. It
Yeah.
helps us reflect, right? That's what the moon does.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And you know what? It's good to warm up to knowing when the moon is doing what and thinking about your day and blending these concepts.
Yes.
And that's what helped me. It's helping me learn astrology better, is blending what the archetype of what's going on and what I'm experiencing and going, oh yeah, wow,
Yeah,
that's
it's
crazy.
yeah, it's experiential astrology, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I got to see Venus this morning on the other side of my house when the moon, oh, it was probably about probably about 4 o'clock, and Venus was right behind the moon. So tomorrow morning it should be closer or conjunct. And every time, I don't know why, it's so childlike, but every time I see the moon in the sky, I get so excited, like I just got a puppy. And this in Venus, I was like, oh, Venus, oh my God. All right, so I'm going to stand out here and just kind of chill for a minute and see this, because clouds, rain, you never know it's probably going to be cloudy tomorrow. I won't be able to see the conjunction at all,
Right.
but it just fascinates me.
When the moon and Venus come together like that, it does it 7 times, and then I think then Venus goes through her cycle where she goes from, what is she, morning, she's morning star now, right?
Yeah.
And then she goes to evening star, and it's the seven veils of Isis. Yeah, it's pretty, she takes, I don't recall, unfortunately, whether the morning Venus is taking off a veil or putting a veil on, but it's
Okay.
the process of sort of shedding your skin and then putting your skin back on, with Venus and the moon. And
Yeah.
of course, Venus and the moon are the two major feminine archetypes within the planetary system that most astrologers use.
Yeah. Yeah. So tomorrow will be very, very interesting. And it'll be our gay pride parade is tomorrow.
Oh,
And it's been postponed for 2 years.
yes.
So I won't be there. I'll be a little bit further west, but it's going to be really interesting.
I think it's really important for us to put a lot of protection
Yeah.
and white light around all the gay pride parades at this
Yes.
time. I was driving to see my mother, um, to go see her at the nursing home. Let's see her at the nursing home today. And as I'm driving, I drive upon this little red car, and he had all these like Trump stickers on the back, and his license plate said "Go MAGA." And when you passed him, he had like a decal of the side of Trump's head, like as if he was like driving Trump around. And he sort of like I just sort of like looked to see who was driving, and he's like, and I just I bursted. I didn't laugh in his face because these people have very fragile egos, and I didn't want
Right,
him to run off
right.
the road, right? But I don't know. I have a little red car. Maybe he thought I was with him or something. But anyway, um, I used to have a blue car. They would have definitely known that I wasn't in the thing. But I just happened to have a little red car now, and I just like chuckled to myself, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is it's funny, but it's not. It's these people are very they're very wounded and or whatever, or they feel very, I guess they feel vindicated in some way for the Trump stuff to happen, for the Roe versus Wade stuff to happen.
Yeah,
They're mad that the guy who killed um, George Floyd went to jail for that.
yeah,
Um, so these, and they're still riled up about January 6th. I mean, Trump is just like a puppet
yeah,
to the energy that's coming out, and that is that is the angry masculine because they feel like, I mean, how fearful do you have to be that your only defense is a gun?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, how wrapped up in fear if you think
Hmm.
that your only defense between you and life and death is a gun. That's very desperate. And these people are very desperate, and we have to be very cautious. And women, more and more women are going to be targeted because of that. And I think we just need to like yesterday I was saying to you before we got on that when I was driving up to Cambridge with Sherry and Jackie, who you both know, and that's when the news broke, and it was real important that we were in that
Car
energy.
fury.
We were in the sisterhood, and it's funny because we get together on occasion. They live close by. We go walking sometimes on Saturday mornings, so we get together on a relatively base, but we don't go anywhere. We like go to the next town, and we go to where one of the girls is, and we walk around. But we actually like went to Cambridge, and we picked that day. We didn't know. And so, we were, and just watched Glenn Kirshner.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He's in Boston. He was at his daughter's wedding. You should watch it. It's like really powerful. I heard him speak. I heard Elizabeth Warren speak today. Very, very powerful stuff. Um, but
Yeah,
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 so anyway, so that was so I just happened to see that guy, and I was like, I chuckled at first, and then I was like, you know what, I think we have to be more mindful than usual.
yeah, yeah. I remind people of that all the time, that it's just charged. Just part of it is we haven't had these kinds of celebrations in a long time, and
Right.
it's like the first day of summer, like everything is very exciting and you want to get into it, but everything that's going on right now, both both sides I think are accelerated. you know both sides are feeling we need to strengthen our power, right? I know the community I've been working with just the last couple of days are very powerful, and feel like they need to strengthen themselves, right? The other side, the Trumpy side, they lost. That it probably feels like how we feel when Roe v. Wade tanked.
Yeah.
We lost, and they lost. So that same vortex of like that sinking feeling. I noticed a lot of this. I told you, I noticed a lot of people sort of hunched in
Right.
and kind of needing, and this is all right, that's all the moon in Cancer, the sun in
Right. The
Cancer.
breasts. Yep.
Yeah, and needing to hear, right, how strong they are, how powerful they are, how beautiful they are, and start to open up like that. But they haven't heard stuff like thank you, or nobody communicates like that anymore.
I
you
know.
know? And everyone's kind of shut in, and now confidence.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely a shift. I know there's a lot of really bad news, but there's a lot of really good things happening, and we don't hear about them. So you have to keep that in mind, number one, right?
Yeah,
But there's a lot of really good things, and a lot of the really good things that are happening happen on a small scale. They don't happen on a large scale.
right.
There's the web that binds us together. It binds us together through love.
Yeah,
And you know, when people are upset, like even what happens in the Ukraine, where the whole world was like, oh my God, what did these people do? Like everybody's that strengthened the web of human connection.
yeah. I have two friends that are celebrating birthdays over the weekend, and both of them set up fundraisers in lieu of any birthday, anything for Planned Parenthood. Two of them. So you're, like you said, like stuff is like good things are happening, but they're on that small scale, like here and there. And all we hear about is the really big stuff. But trust me, I think we're gonna go through a revision, and it'll be better. It'll be more inclusive.
Well, I certainly know that if we want things to change, the only thing as far as I understand it, of course, I am by no means an expert in any of this. I understand that like Roe is dead, and in but we can enact a law to not maybe revive. We could call it reviving Roe, or make it a law, make it a federal law that. But in order to do that, it has to come through the House. They have to make a bill, and then it has to go to the Senate, and the Senate has to approve it. And the only way that that's going to happen is if the Democrats take the House and the Senate. Um, I think that's it. I mean, you have to have those two, and
Yeah.
um, that's why I feel like it's really. I mean, it all very much seems to me like this very sort of wounded, isolationist, repressive, fascist control
Yeah.
is feels like the control is slipping away from them because people are opening their hearts. And when people open their hearts, there's no need to control because you trust. You trust that your needs will be met. You'll trust that your neighbor will watch your back. You trust, and you don't need guns then. So it's really the more
Point taken,
connections.
though. How much can we trust? Right? That's a great point. That's
That's very true, but we
how
can
much can we
trust.
trust?
Well,
Yeah.
what I would say, we can trust where we can trust.
Mhm.
I could trust the women that were driving with me up to Cambridge
Yeah.
to have that experience, to have Roe v. Wade, the thing come over and we all had our own personal experiences
Mhm.
with choice and it was different for each one of us. It was, a different situation
Mhm.
for each of us. We have friends and family, women,
Oh God, yeah.
how many women have had to make that choice. And it's never made with anything but, in my experience of the people that I know,
Mhm.
it's never made just like, oh, well, I'll just get rid of it. Like, that's like never a thing. You can't. And if you do say that, then there's something even deeper, a deeper disconnection that eventually you're going to touch that. You're going to touch that pain and
Mhm.
you pay for the pain. You don't make a life and death decision on another soul and not pay in pain on
Right.
some level. I don't, you can say what you can say. Is it all right? Yes. Yes, our right is to bring forth life. And if we can't bring forth life and nurture it in an environment where it's going to be nurtured, we have the right to not do it, to say
Exactly.
no.
Exactly. That's the whole paradox here.
You're the
We're having
gatekeeper.
trouble feeding our own babies. We're struggling with, federal assistance. We're, sort of segregating communities that don't earn as much. They're not getting as many resources. And then you want to procreate more, or you think that, oh, we could just adopt these babies out that women don't want. Doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Like you said, no matter what your choice, you carry a scar. Literally.
Yes.
Literally carry a scar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether you have the baby or you don't have the baby.
Right.
You still, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think we're going to be okay. I think we're in, it's just a very charged space, and it's going to be, it needs a change. It needs to be a little more inclusive. And if it's state by state right now, and some of the people I talked to today were like, well, just if Texas wants to be its own territory, go ahead.
mm-hmm.
Right? If it wants to break off and be its own little region there, this might be the thing that just sort of splits the US, and that, go ahead and see what kind of support you're going to get when you're worried about the border.
Right.
Go ahead.
Well,
I support your decision to separate, right?
I guess they'll have all the guns or something, right?
Oh yeah, that's going to matter.
The border, I mean, like people are going to be running to Mexico soon.
I have friends who are leaving for London on Sunday. They had enough.
Yeah.
They had enough. They are from here and moved there when they got married, went back and forth a little bit because of jobs, loved it out there, came here, came back. And in that span of time, Trump became president, like all this shit just hit the fan, and they sold their house and they're leaving tomorrow. Back to England.
England's not doing too well either. I hate to tell you.
You know what? They have all their connections there.
Okay.
And they loved it there. They loved the socialized medicine. They love the cost of housing. They have their own, very strong opinions about that political system. But it's easier than living here in a pretty progressive state.
Right. I listened to my senator, Elizabeth Warren, talk today. If anybody, I'll try to put it in the descriptor. These Glenn Kirshner's was really good. Liz Warren, like Glenn Kirshner and Liz Warren were in the same town. I thought that was kind of cool. Like, woo! And so was we were up there too. So you could feel the energy. It's so, we were right by Harvard, and it's just so. It wasn't angry. It felt very interactive. Like when you go there, it's like there's just so many different kinds of people.
Yeah.
That are, on the level playing field there. I love Cambridge for that because it's very ethnically diverse.
Yeah. It's
there are certainly enclaves of rich, but it feels a little less so than Boston, which is you have the Boston, from the Wayback Machine, the rich in Boston. Cambridge is a little, I don't know, but it does have Harvard and it does have MIT.
Yeah.
There's an energy with that. There's a dark side to that energy as well. So, but it was good to be in the city. You could feel it. People were talking quietly about the issues and how people
any worry or now you don't have protests like we have protests.
Well, there are definitely protests in Boston, but
yeah, Boston does.
Yeah. Not here. I mean, I guess the guy driving down the road, he was a driving protest. And we have the big trucks with the flags flapping in the back. Yeah, it's like I feel like we're in the Dukes of Hazzard. It's never felt like that here ever. I've been here for 30 years. This is the first time I could say it feels like the Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
so they're coming out because they have like they were hiding before. Now they have this like, this thing. So we'll see what happens. But
wow. That's what Tennessee was like when I lived down there. They were very bold about that. That Confederate flag was on every pickup truck and tattoo.
yeah, yeah, I know. They just, it's
There's a real special pride in that thought process. And that I can't like it's just interesting, but I don't know. It is a machismo kind of thing. There's some kind of weird attachment to that whole thing, you know. And I'd be screaming out the car, like, you didn't win the war, stupid. Like, but some believe they did.
well, maybe they did.
Believe they won the
I
Civil
mean,
War. Yeah.
I mean, they had who were the monuments that finally came down, right? All these people put up. So who really, who really Robert E. Lee was he the guy? I don't know.
So I don't even know.
Yeah, me either, right? We're so we're so snobby up here in the northeast and northern Midwest there, right?
It's so different. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I thought let's take a look at the new moon, right?
Yeah.
So any hits on um
Yeah.
what are you smelling, girl?
Yeah. I'm smelling confidence. I'm smelling that that's the theme.
Okay.
And selenite, literally inhaling it.
I wonder, I bet you could get some sort of selenite like infused like spray. You know what I mean? That smells like,
Doable.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I had a selenite palm stone,
Mm-hmm.
and I carved a Reiki symbol into it, literally inhaling it, like carving, just over. And I thought initially, I'm like, I need to take some selenite with me for the altar to do this art thing, but it wasn't. I didn't even put it out. It was more personal. Like, I need the peace. I need the tranquility. It helps break up some of that overwhelming input,
Yeah,
you know?
I had one of my most profound healings I ever had was a woman who did a selenite healing, and she had these giant slabs of selenite.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry you can't see my
Yeah,
face. I
you're
don't know
wonderful.
what's going on here. But and I sat on them, and she put them under your feet, and then you held these two selenite wands, and she did this thing with with the sound toning and this selenite. It
Yeah,
was it was she was like one of the most psychic people I knew, artist, of course, right? All you
okay.
artists are the same, right? And so she just like they said, and I loved her because they would say do this and she'd go do it, like she'd go on these brand adventures. And so she like got involved with like selling the selenite and
Yeah,
and thing and this that and the other thing. And then she stopped that and she did something else. So it's really it's she was just always so all in with that stuff. But it totally shifted me. I don't
yeah,
know how else to explain it. I was in such a difficult, at the time, emotional place
yeah,
where it was like, it was literally my heart was getting broken and there was nothing I could do. And she just came and did this healing on me. And it just shifted me enough to line me back up. And my whole life changed after that. That healing, but it came at a time when my life was probably going to be changing, but it sort of helped to birth the new
yeah,
me. And I feel like this new moon in Cancer is here to rebirth us. Cancer is the sign associated with the mother. It's
yeah,
considered the sign where we enter incarnation. Everybody enters life from between their mother's legs, or, if it's a C-section, it's a little different, but still, you need the body of the mother, right? And so this new moon in Cancer, I think, speaks to that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it is the body. It is caring for the body. It is, acknowledging the perfect imperfect skin and what's housing you and taking care of it and offering it tea and chocolates. And it's that's the Cancer moon, is taking your body. And the selenite is like self-charging, inexpensive, and it does that, just keeping it with you. It just keeps you calm.
Yes, yes.
And harmonizes. And I thought today, I thought maybe it meant something to somebody I was going to see, a client or some kind of thing coming in. But no, it's really, this is the new moon. This is what I've been asking for. So as we get ready to do moon shadows, I'm like,
Right.
okay, what is the new moon? When I talked to Venus this morning, I'm like, give me some new moon, ideas of what's happening, what's going on. And I'm attracted to the selenite, and I can't put it down. I can't
Right.
put it down. I use it a lot, but it's really important right now because I took it with me, and then it just, I was able to handle a crowd, and I can't always.
Right. Right.
Yeah. It's a
Yes,
little much.
absolutely. I was wearing, when we went to Cambridge yesterday, I was wearing this. It's like aragonite.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, right. It's got all the chakra stones in it,
Yeah.
with the curly Q thing.
Yeah.
It's
Copper.
copper, yeah. And I wear it, but it's like it's in like a certain, like, it's twisted in a certain way that I think is like some sort of charge. But I wear it when I'm going to be out and about. I wore it a lot coming out of COVID because everybody was so terrified
Yeah.
that it was very easy to go out and get anxious if you
Yeah.
didn't protect yourself.
Mhm.
And now people well, a lot of people are angry. But if you look at this chart, right, we have, okay,
Yeah.
I
This
just
is,
noticed this, look, here's 7, right?
yeah. Yeah.
7, 7, 7.
I did not notice Venus was part of the 7.
Yeah,
Knew that there was going to be a square when I pulled out some notes that have been taken. I got selenite written all over them. That there was that square between in Jupiter,
Jupiter and the sun,
but
moon and the new
in
moon,
the middle there. That's interesting.
right?
Yeah.
This is anger. This is a crisis in action square. Jupiter to the moon, Jupiter to the sun. And then if you add these inconjuncts to the South Node in Scorpio, I'm not inconjuncts, sesquiquadrates, this is called a Thor's hammer,
Right.
right? And so Thor takes his hammer and goes bang, 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 bang. I mean, people probably know more about Thor than I do because I'm not a Marvel person, but he's a pretty bad dude, right? He's a pretty
Yeah.
powerful guy. He's the god of thunder, the god of thunder. So this is so the things happening now are like thunder. It's like reverberating. You know what? Let me look up. Well, I'm just gonna. Well, you're gonna see me, but I'm gonna look at something else. I want to see the Sabian symbol for this moon,
Yeah.
this new moon. I just want to read it and see what it says. Okay, so it's 8 degrees of Cancer, correct?
777. Yeah.
8 degrees. Okay. Oops. I got it and then I passed it up. Whoops, here we go. 8 degrees, right? It
Mhm.
says a group of rabbits dressed in human clothes walk as if on parade.
It's the Gay Pride Parade.
Oh my God, it says the tendency in all forms of life to imitate higher forms as a stimulus to growth. Um, this rather strange symbol points to what is essentially in all first attempts at developing consciousness, furthering and furthering one's growth through association with those who have already reached a superior evolutionary or mental level. Every seeker looks for an exemplar or an avatar, I guess, right? The religious mystic speaks of the imitation of Christ. In Japan, the music student sits in front of his teacher playing an instrument and carefully imitates his every gesture. Um, it says, we see at work the basic feature at the start of a learning process. Oh, so we're starting a learning process.
Yeah.
So it is a rebirth. Where what this chart and this just sort of came to me because I've been sitting with this chart for a while, is there's the past is here to inform us how to move forward into the future. What worked? What didn't work?
Yeah.
What has our actions from the past cost us?
Right.
And
I had a couple of those discussions. Yeah. What worked and what didn't. And, you know, and if it doesn't work, it's all fear. You know, we've got to move in a direction where we're not afraid of everything.
yes, the courage of our convictions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is what you said.
Mm-hmm.
You know, believing in yourself, feeling yourself. You know, the month of July, which is, it's not quite July yet, but it's coming. The sun is in Cancer, the sun is in Leo. That's energy, right? The sun energy, bringing the energy to the breasts, right? The Cancer rules the breasts. That is our ability to nurture and be nurtured,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then the sun moves into Leo, which is the heart.
Yeah.
Right, which is what lies underneath the breasts, right? What beats in our breast is the heart, and it's about love.
Yeah.
It's about love. It's about strengthening the ties that bind us together as humans, and not feed into the separation and the fear, because that is what separation and fear are. It's kind of like Saturn, right? Saturn is very much like that. Separates, you know,
Yeah. And
we're covered in skin, right? And
it's
then
retrograde right now too. So it's got that little bit of a flavor of knowing that, like wanting to move forward and just a little bit backing up.
well,
Right.
one of the, as I yes, and my understanding is also that when Saturn is retrograde, this is the time when it's not pushing its agenda forward, but it's willing for the things to change, the laws to change, the structures to change. And we just had a big change, right, with Roe, but it works the other way as well. It's not just about losing that, it's about reinvigorating the fight or reinvigorating the way that we approach it. I think that both sides of the issue have something valuable to give to the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I just think that the more we can come together, um, perhaps the faster it'll change and shift the direction that it's going in.
Yeah.
You know, this to me feels like um, it's felt like an attack of the feminine for a long time, like most, like for thousands of years, if you really
Mm-hmm.
want to know. and and we're fighting back. It's been like that really since the fall of man, you know, the Garden of Eden myth and all of that stuff. That's when women were seen as evil.
Yeah.
And in that way, the, you know, women have the power of attraction. Venus is the planet of attraction, magnetic attraction. And so women, you know, many women can control men by a small filament of hair, we might say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So they feel weak around women because they sort of allow themselves to feel things, and so they try to beat it out of us, like, don't make me feel anything but rage. That's the only thing I can feel. But they've also been conditioned to be that way because
yeah,
they've been conditioned to be soldiers,
yeah,
right? And so there's just so many layers, I think, of this whole conversation,
yeah.
that I think is going to be had. It's
It
been,
it has to be had, and it's a momentous time.
yeah,
We'll
it's
always remember this, is that new moon in Cancer was when this changed, and then it'll hit you like, oh, that makes sense. I understand why that happened, and how, and where we're going forward with this. But right now, it's just really painful.
it's not insignificant that this is all coming down with the January 6th stuff. And then there wasn't just Roe that happened. There was also 100-year law in New York State, that they said I think, and I might be wrong about that you can actually have open carry in New York.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
Is
conceal and carry in New
right?
York. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
there's that. So they did that. And then there was one other thing there was like three things that they did that were all kind of in the same genre. It was the guns. Oh, the Miranda. You can't sue the police if they don't give you your Miranda rights.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So we don't have Miranda rights anymore. Yes. So this is a shutting down. And I think that we do have to kind of go underground a little bit. But I think that's, we always have to do, because things don't change but from the grassroots. And so we have to really like strengthen our roots here, which is maybe what Taurus and Aquarius is asking us to raise our game, to
Hmm.
have our roots be more inclusive. I mean, did I say Taurus and Aquarius? I meant Uranus and Taurus, opening up more to like what it means to be, I don't know, stable, but there has to be instability first. I don't know if I'm making any sense. It's very hot up here.
I know. I was thinking about that underwater volcano again when you mentioned the Uranus and Taurus there. You know, opposite the South Node, and how
Well,
that's coming up from the water. And this.
and conjunct the North Node.
Yeah, yeah,
When you have
almost
a
exactly right. This will be happening next week.
yes, when you well, there's more because I did looked in a little bit. Um, this type of aspect has no ease. It's all stressful. Like when you have a yod in the chart, you have two in conjuncts, and then you have two planets that are sextile to each other. Those two planets sort of interact, they talk, they discuss, they learn from each other. These two planets only fight. And then they're in this very, very sort of tense
Yeah,
sesquiquadrate. And sesquiquadrates require us to, like, the energy of the inconjunct is an energy of humbling. We learn how to humble ourselves. Either we're learning how to humble our egos so that we can actually like interact with people without people hating us,
yeah,
or we have to humble ourselves in front of society so that we can come into society. Otherwise, you sort of stay on the outskirts, and you can't be as effective. You have to be able to take your ideas, move them into society in order for society to evolve and grow. So that's the inconjunct. But the sesquiquadrates is the breaking point. It's when things break, and they are it's like the moment of the death of the ego, or it's the
Yeah.
moment of, it's actually the moment of the death of the ego
Yeah.
that is happening here. And that's why I think it's just so, it's, I mean, we can feel how you, we can feel how heavy this is, because last week I was talking to my husband Michael, and I was like, I can't move. I was having trouble moving through the air. It's like if I sat too long and I went to get up, it was like I was calcified. It was the weirdest thing. And I have some arthritis from, just 30 years of racking and cracking backs. That'll give you a little arthritis, right? But Lyme, I got Lyme, and that kind of messed up my knee a bit. And then I said ski accident. But the time I went skiing, I messed up my knee. That's why. I was never really a skier. Um, but all that, like, they all started to hurt at once. And I was like, the energy is just so dense to move through.
Yeah.
And
Wow. It's
and
funny. I've had my knees hurt me, and I think it's just been from working and outside and stuff.
yeah,
I've been using tuning forks now since cannoli has gotten better. Using tuning forks on her and putting one on. My knee just hurts. I don't know why. It's actually better today, but I'm putting the tuning fork on that.
the sound is so healing. Well, we're vibration. We are vibration. And if you, when you deal with that sound healing like that, which is what that is,
Yeah.
right? You're actually shifting the interference patterns. Like, sickness is simply an interference pattern within
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. I
That's
totally,
why things like homeopathy works. It works with
yes.
those subtle forces.
And because it works so well with the dogs, I mean, it's like a miracle the way it's worked with the dogs. Um, the tuning forks, I don't know why I started to just think about that and thought, that's interesting. Let me try this and see if even cannoli responds, because she's deaf. She's definitely deaf. That's for sure.
But she can feel a vibration.
But you can actually see it. Like you could see her, like the hairs raise almost.
Mhm.
There's something in between. Giblets is a little skittish about it because I
He
don't
can
know what
hear. He can hear it. It's because it makes a sound. I mean,
he can
you
hear it.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
even when I
makes,
use the F, the low one, it kind of bothers him a little bit.
yeah. I think, well, he's also sensitive. I mean,
Oh, he's the worst. Yeah.
he's such a, oh, I have to tell you this story. This was the, so this is like a little bit of a distraction, but you'll appreciate this. So yesterday was a very hard day, right? It was hard for everybody, even though I was with my gal pals and we had a great day together. By the time the end of the day, it was like exhausting. And this morning I got up and I was like, oh my God. It's just felt very heavy and very negative in a way over the last couple of days. And so this morning I needed to get half and half. So I got out early and I was going to the store to get half and half. And I see this guy standing with a little dog next to like the entrance, and it's a little baby bulldog, and I think it was a girl, and when she saw me, she was like, ooh, like this, right, doing the bulldog thing. And then I walked closer, and I'm like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. And then she got all, how they get all wiggly, and I said, do you mind, because you got
Yeah.
to ask people, right? It's their dog, and this is expensive dog, right? So he's like, sure. And she was just loving on me, and I was patting her and talking to her. And I said, how do you not like wake up in the morning? Look at that face. I mean, how can you look at that face in the morning? I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And I said, I just want to thank you. I really needed this.
Yeah.
I really needed that little dog at the
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
It's so profound how the dogs heal. That's why I made cannoli a Reiki 2 level practitioner, because people touch her right? And I would take her to the nursing home, and people would touch her, and like they're getting healed. You know, they're getting healing energy and not even knowing it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And the little baby bulldogs.
Oh my God. It was so soft.
Yeah, they're not like
Oh,
that once they're like 6 months old.
no, I know. This one was like this big. I was just like, oh my God. So I just had to share that because to me that was like a new moon in Cancer moment as well. The other
Yes.
thing, there's so I'm saying there's Thor's hammer, everybody's like panicked. Oh my God, right? But there's some beautiful things in this chart. You have a what did I say? Okay, here. Where is it? Sextile? Sextile between Venus and Jupiter. Very
Mhm.
tight, like within minutes,
Yep.
right? 716,
718.
718. That is close. And this is like the expansion of the feminine.
Yeah.
This is the expansion of the feminine. And um, we also have Mars here, right? Mars is square Pluto
Yep.
and it's conjunct Eris. Let me pull in the asteroids here and we'll take a look because this is very significant. So let me just do something here. I have to change my display points. Not that anybody needs to know that, but in case somebody wants to know.
Yeah. This is interesting because
Okay.
Eris puts a
Oh,
nice
oops, that's the full moon. That's not what I want. Don't look at that yet. Oh, I guess we could look at that, but that's not what let's see. Here we go. Here we go. The new moon, right? So we have, here's Pallas Athena, the goddess of social justice in Taurus, on Caput Algo, off with your head, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Which we just had, who was on Caput Algo?
Mercury.
Mercury and Venus were
Yeah.
there. It's trine Pluto, right? Trine Pluto here. Um, what else did I see? We also have, of course, we can't, oh, Eris, here we go.
Yeah.
This Eris sun, and I mean Eris Mars. Eris just made it. I mean, Eris, okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me talk slow. Mars had just gone over Eris. In fact, let me look at something here, which is a little off the full moon, but um gun laws, Clarence Thomas, Roe versus Wade. I did it when I did the announcement. Where the heck is the announcement? Okay, I'm sorry. Roe versus, I mean, this might be it. No, this is actual Roe versus Wade. That's a whole nother. That's worth a moon shadows on its own. So we're not going to go there. But oh, I know what I'll do. I like where it is right now. Let me see here. Let me just look at this. I'm so sorry. I'm just like I know how to do this. It's just like I don't seem like I know how that I'm doing. All right. So this is right this minute, right? It's 8:29 here in Wareham.
Yeah.
And here's Mars. Here's Eris. So between now and the new
Wait,
moon.
no. The chart, the Roe v. Wade chart's still up.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Actually, no, I was looking at it, seeing it's actually kind of designed to be changed. It's designed to be changed.
I think we have to evolve. It
Yeah.
feels like an evolution
Yeah.
more than anything else. Okay, I have to new share. You're right. I have to do it. Here we go. All right. Thank you so much. Because I would just have gone on and on and on, and everybody would be like, what is she talking about? So this is right this minute. Here's Mars at
Yeah.
23. Here's Eris. So over the gay pride,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you guys got to be careful out there. I know you want to be loud and proud, but you got to keep your eyes open. Things could happen with this.
It's also a naked bike ride on the lake tonight.
I would go see that.
When the owner of the store is doing naked bike ride Chicago tonight. You can wear a bikini. You can wear like,
I would have to think I'd have to wear something, otherwise I might chafe a little bit.
yeah,
But I would let the ladies
the shoes,
fly free.
shoes and a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
naked. Oh, darn. Yeah, that's going to be fun. So that's interesting there, right?
Right. So that's coming. And so between
Yes.
now and the new moon, Mars is going to go over Eris, right?
Yeah.
And then we have the new moon with Mars just coming off that conjunction in Eris. Now, let me just get back to the chart because I want to show you.
And this actually gives me confidence. I could smell the apple. I got a picture, a really cool picture of a uterus today. I'll send it to you.
Okay, cool.
And it's got this whole apple flavor to it now that, man, I think it's going to be, I feel like there's a victory here. I feel like we have this, it's going to be a good thing.
It's a good thing.
It's
That's why we have to put the light around it.
Yeah.
Because if somebody's trying to harm, like one of the things that you learn when you get into paganism is how to do protection, right? How to do protection spells around you. And the way you protect yourself is that anything that comes towards you gets reflected back to you. The more light that you emit, it's like it bounces off, right?
Yeah.
The energy bounces off. And that's how you keep people, that's how you can keep a safe, and there are going to be those souls who have decided at this time they come in and they're going to be the front line. I mean, there's always a frontline soldier, right? On both sides, right? So there's going to be clashes, but we can hold the light, just like we held the light for the Ukraine. And we have to continue to hold the light for anywhere where, people are not opening their heart. There was an earthquake in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And they can't get aid because we won't give it to them because of the Taliban. How is that helping the people that we were there for 20 years? We can't help them, right? What's happening in Israel? It's terrible.
I
All
think,
of that is
ISIS is asking for assistance
we should give people
this,
assistance, whether
right,
they're ISIS or they're
right.
Republicans.
And
If
our
anything else,
refusal is sort of an FU kind of thing. But, that whatever product is coming out of Afghanistan that we need, trust me, they'll get help as long as we
I
benefit.
think it's lithium, the lithium batteries, and it's heroin probably.
Interesting. Heroin is one, but actually, yes, pharmaceuticals. That is, there's factories and stuff there. Pharmaceutical factories, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, our pharmaceutical factories would be good, but what about all the poor, starving people, like women and children? It's not everywhere. Everywhere, women and children are on the front line, and here in America, women and children are on the front line. We're shooting our children with semi-automatic weapons, and we're taking our women's rights to their own bodies away from them. It is a dark day, but it's always, as I said, as I emailed to you, messaged you, it's always darkest before dawn.
Yeah.
And it's about ready, and they're out ready to get sunny in here.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. And I want to, put a positive spin on this as much as we can, because there is something very profound coming from this, and I refuse to be sucked into the fear and anger that it's creating.
Right. Yeah, it's more about if it's like if something breaks, you fix it, or you build in something that's going to be stronger. that's how we do it. Things have to break, and maybe on some level it was a Roe versus Wade was on some level needed to be broken, so it's something. It's like when your heart breaks. When your heart breaks, you love more after that. You don't love
Right.
less unless you decide to close down. But like every pain, every vicissitude, and I said that wrong, of life strengthens us and strengthens our resolve and
Yeah.
strengthens our heart ties. And that's what we're doing. So we have to concentrate on what we can do,
Mhm.
right? Not what we can't do.
Right. And we're doing stuff. We are. We're gonna, we
Each one of
started,
us.
I told you, we started the, you can order Plan B by mail. And we were talking about this last Moon Shadows when just the alert came out, so the preemptive,
Right.
right? And now it happened. And now we're strengthening the services to Planned Parenthood and working on having more clinic availability. And so, yeah, there's strength in this.
Well, um, let's take a look at the full moon, right?
Okay.
This is the full moon, and I think what I'll do is I'll reduce the number of, well, let me just, let's just look at, I'm going to take out some of this stuff, but let's see if there's anything significant. We have Ceres conjunct the sun
Yeah.
in Cancer, opposite Pluto and the moon in Capricorn,
Yeah.
right? Cancer Capricorn, the axis of Cancer Capricorn is the parental axis, right? It's the mother, the father, right? The inner, the outer. It's about physical emotion. It's about emotional security,
Yeah.
physical security, Cancer. It's about physical and monetary security, Capricorn, right? It's that energy. And Pluto is in Capricorn, and Pluto, and between the new moon and this full moon, the United States has its second Pluto return, its
Yeah.
second round of Pluto. So this is seismic for America.
So our Pluto return is happening between the new moon and the full moon.
The second, yeah, it happens 3 times. It happens in February, it happens in July,
And
and
this,
it happens in December or January.
okay.
January, I think. Yeah. So, and and in this, like, right, and then of course this all happened while the United States was in a tower year.
Yeah.
The United States is in a 16/7 vibration. In fact, on my morning thing, my morning thing, like you do the morning thing, I took a picture of the steps at the restaurant we were in. They had all the steps numbered in tile, and I picked 15 and 16.
I saw
The devil and the tower.
yeah, I
Right.
saw the thumbnail for the video. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was an homage to a tower moment that we had while we were on our way to that restaurant. You know what I mean? So like, but the United States is in a 16/7. And now after its birthday, which is going to happen before this full moon, right? It's going to
Yeah.
happen on the 4th. It's going to be in a star year.
Yeah.
Finding your guiding star. It's a big shift, and it's an Aquarius energy, right? The star card is Aquarius, and we have Saturn square the nodes. Where's Saturn? I lost it. I know it's here somewhere. Saturn. Where'd Saturn go?
Right in
Oh
the
my God!
bottom.
I can't. Oh, there it is. I can't believe Saturn is. Maybe I just didn't want to see it. Okay, so that's possible. But here's Saturn, right? Square the nodes. Square the
Yep.
nodes of the moon. So this is you know, resolution node, the south node. We have to go back to the south, to the past. We have to look at abortion. We have to look at Roe versus Wade. We have to look at slavery. We have to look at reparations. We have to look at what we did to the Native Americans. We have to look at what happened at the Native schools. All that stuff is coming up and coming out in order for us to build a more secure and stable future. But in order to do that, we have to open our minds, Uranus.
Yeah.
We have to open ourselves up to the possibility that we do not have to live in fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Eris is square this. Eris is square this full moon.
Yeah.
And Pluto. And Ceres, which comes in with her scythe and cuts down the grain.
July 13th. Okay.
So what day is that? That's a 26. That's interesting. It's a 26-8 vibration, which is the same vibration that Donald Trump is in this year, 26-8.
Let me look at it. What is it?
It's the Page of Wands messages.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's associated with Sag. Page of Wands is associated with Sag.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is, and the other interesting thing about the full moon is its ascendant is Scorpio.
Mhm.
So the ruler of this new moon, right? I mean, this full moon's chart is Mars,
Yeah.
opposite in the house of, seventh house is the house of law, right? And relationship. I mean, the overturning of Roe versus Wade doesn't just affect women. It affects men, because if a man gets a woman pregnant, all we need is a DNA test.
Mm-hmm.
They will be financially and fiscally responsible for that woman and
True.
that child.
Is that in the that you know what it should be? Is that true? Really, it should be. Honestly.
So I mean, if you're if
child support.
I mean, if that's right, that's how they do child support, right? You get a paternity test. Right? So men are on the hook for this too. Men, a lot, you know, I wouldn't want to guess, and this is for entertainment purposes only. Maybe I should have said this sooner.
Yeah.
How many terminations that Mr. Trump paid for over his lifetime?
Right. Right. 18, according to the tarot.
This is for entertainment purposes only.
Mhm.
Please do not take anything we say
I know
as
that's
gospel
the
truth.
whole, you know, the whole thing is, and maybe that is, you know what, maybe this thing is all, you know, to get the masculine, to get the men to reflect on their actions, and, you know, that it means that they're going to be, you know,
I'm sure young men are not thrilled about this.
yeah.
I'm sure they're not. The only people who seem to be happy are old white guys, as far as I can tell.
Yep.
And a few deluded mothers who think that there's enough love and enough money to take care of all these babies that are going to be born.
Very.
Have you seen these people? All their eyes are glazed over.
Yeah.
Well, this is an action of love, and this is a thing of love, and it's like, yeah, okay. I don't doubt that you feel that way.
Right.
I don't doubt their great intentions to bring love and bring more babies and happiness and joy into the world. But, you know, bringing a baby that can't be taken care of is doing nobody a favor.
These are people that were never compromised in ways where they had to sell jewelry to buy baby food or whatever. You know, these are people that just have this idea that the church taught them, and, you know, now they're happy about this, but they were never really compromised. If they were compromised, they would think differently.
Well, it's
services that were public aid services instead of a private insurance paid doctor that caters to you, they would think differently.
Well, we do, there's a certain amount of walking in each other's moccasins that need to happen,
Yeah.
you know. And I think that we need to open the lines of communication. I think that's how we have to move forward. We can fight all we want, but fighting doesn't get us anywhere. We learned that through Trump. We fighting doesn't get us anywhere. It gets us angry and exhausted and frustrated to the point where you just close down from it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, how can you continuously be so vitriolic? And on the other side, how often am I going to open myself up to the abuse that comes with my point of view?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, but anyway, I think that this is big. This is so big. And it's like, I feel like everything's getting like not supercharged for November.
This is in preparation for everything that's in. We're having our primary right now, so yeah, this is definitely all getting ready for the next event. And it's just honestly, it feels like just a théâtre d'absurde, right? A theater of the absurd. Like the absurdity of this whole thing is just bizarre to me. Like
it is, but it's the energy that we have to remember that's happening. And so you need to imprint that energy with your intention.
Yeah.
And so if you can do that, we're going to, if we intend for the world to be a more loving place, we have to be more loving to each other.
Yeah.
It's Jesus's words, love thine enemy.
Right.
Right. We have to live, we have to really live like Jesus. Yeah. Like, what would Jesus
We need to love ourselves. And this is the new moon thing, is we need to love ourselves so much. I see a lot of that. People don't know what that means, or they don't know how to do that, or what does that mean to love yourself? They're so selfless, and that's what new moon's got to give us. If we have some decent a pile up of self-love, then it just spills out.
Well, that's what Uranus in Taurus is about, waking us up to our magnificent selves, to love ourselves. The Taurus is about self-worth, value. What do you value? Do you value yourself? Are you important enough to do what you love? Are you important enough to make choices for yourself?
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know what you've lost until you've lost it, and that's when you really fight to gain the ground. And I think there's always going to be these waves of where we're moving forward. It's not optimal to be Black in America, but it's a lot better than it was in 1950. It's different problems, but and I'm not Black, and I apologize if I appropriated in any way there, but that's the way it just gets better. It gets better for us, and we if we focus our intention, that's the power. I don't know, it's like that's the the energy is the energy. And with all this energy that we're looking at right here in this chart, this is an opportunity for us to really change and start to focus on that which is necessary to focus on, and it's instead of like worrying about women's hoo-ha, why don't you worry about Mother Earth's climate change? This is the only planet, except for maybe Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. And let me tell you, they deserve each other up on Mars.
Yeah,
I would love to see that.
Yeah, I'd be happy with a bunch of people moving to Mars.
Yeah, they can go to Mars.
Yeah, that'd be great. open up the space a little bit. Yeah. Where
I
that's
think that guy driving down the road today would probably go to Mars. I bet you he'd be right in front of the line. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
So let's just cover, like we talked. I don't know how long we've been talking, but it doesn't matter. It's gonna be long, folks. You just gotta know you can't go through all what we've gone through since the
Yeah.
last new moon report that we did and not talk about all the things. I mean, we didn't even talk about January 6th. And that was and that was the new moon
Right.
in Gemini, the information coming out.
Right.
Now
Right.
it's time for the women, for the mother to stand up and say, wait a minute, hold on,
Yeah.
you're not in charge of me. I watched Anna Kasparian. Do you know who she is?
Mm-mm.
She's on the Young Turks. You ever watch the Young Turks? They're very
No.
progressive. I'll send you I'll send you it was like a short. I'll send it to you and I'll put the link down below. She says, I don't care what you believe. You have every right to believe what you believe, but you cannot tell me what I could do with my body because
Right.
of your, oh my God, she just went off. And I was like, she's wearing a red dress and she's gorgeous. And I was like, yes, Anna, you tell him. I was like, oh, but I mean, I'd like to see her chart. I bet you her Eris is lit up right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway.
It's fascinating to me. I'm just fascinated by the whole thing. If we can, and like I said, I'm at that point. I'm at this like stage where, and I'm not in my reproductive years, and I live in a state that's very progressive. So it's like I don't really have to worry. But you know what? It's really interesting to just sort of like see what the collective is thinking, because I don't have a huge, big emotional attachment to this,
Mhm.
and see how everybody's reacting to it. And I'm telling you, shit's gonna go down. It's gonna change. It's gonna be okay. It's really gonna be okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really gonna be
I
okay.
mean, the feminine is getting the energy of the feminine is not about women as much as it is about respecting our feelings and respecting the feelings of others
Yes.
and interacting so that we can work together and build instead of all this crazy wanting to blow everything up. I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah.
What
This is
is wrong? What is wrong? I mean, the babies, the elementary schools,
yeah.
Sandy Hook and Uvalde, they were the beginning and the end of a sentence.
Yep.
They were the beginning and end of a sentence. And there was some gun reform. The first time in 30 years.
Yeah, but it's
It
so
wasn't great. It wasn't great.
fluffy.
It wasn't great. It's not, but it's
Yeah.
a direction. It's the shift because it's like
You know,
when
it's
go
true.
ahead.
You're right. You're true.
Right?
That is true, because it does give you it. They said, if they're background checks, plus if you think you notice suspicious or activity, or kind of not really think somebody should own a gun like this, like they're giving the seller a little wiggle room to say, if do a background check that takes a little bit longer, but also a history, right?
Right.
Or need the question, start asking. If I own the shop, start asking certain questions to people who want to purchase these guns out of the clear blue for no reason,
Right. Right.
right? And start a dialogue and then say, oh yeah,
Yeah, it's it's very, very, very small,
yeah,
but it is going in the direction. And that happens with, what I think, well, I think one of the real touchstones for the big shift that we're experiencing was Standing Rock in 2015. That was a very powerful, there was a lot of ceremony that happened there. That was where AOC went to Standing Rock, and I think she was either coming back or going to. And
Yeah.
she got the call and they said, we want to run you for states, for senator, for the House. And it was on that trip that she found out she was going to run for the House. And it was such a profound experience for her. But I remember feeling what Standing Rock felt like. And it was, there was a point where, do you know who Wesley Clark is?
No.
Wesley Clark used to be, he was in the Clinton, I think the Clinton administration.
Sounds familiar.
He was a general. I don't know if he was some mucky muck. I should know. Anyway, I heard him speak or maybe I heard him speak. I heard Wesley Clark speak when I was in college. And he was, he's a general, but he's like a liberal, he's like on our side.
Yeah.
And his son was there at Standing Rock, and they did this ceremony where they asked, and I think maybe even his family was connected to the people who killed at Wounded Knee, and they actually asked the elders of the Sioux tribe there for forgiveness for what they put them to, and they offered their forgiveness, and so the healing has begun.
Yeah.
The healing has begun, and as Pluto, as the country goes through this Pluto return, this is what is coming up and being healed. And America is a Cancer country.
Yeah.
This new moon is sitting on our Jupiter, justice, and our Venus, and our sun. It's all in Cancer.
Yeah.
And Mars in Aries, Mars in Aries, but Jupiter in Aries coming up, and we're going to be having our Chiron return next year. So we're not only having Pluto return, we're having our first Pluto return and our fifth Chiron return.
We'll have to go over the dates of the Chiron turn so I can open a new file and see what's going on. Right?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll look at the date on that. I like that.
Yeah. It's, oh God,
it's really neat how how we sort of weave together these avenues of connection, astrology and tarot and synesthesia and it all
kitchen
really
witchery.
Yes, the kitchen witchery. I'm going to have a really cool batch of bruise balm.
I got Grabby here
This year.
for the Cancer new moon.
Cancer crud. Exactly. Coming out of your shell,
Right on the boob.
Yeah.
I actually have two. They're a little different. One's bigger than the other. I mean, crabs.
How it is.
That's the way it is, right?
That's how it is.
But I wanted him to be here. And I have my material that has stars and moons on it, which is really pretty, but really hot. One of the reasons I'm hot, but it's okay. I'm willing to suffer for my art.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, absolutely. But it doesn't feel like suffering.
No.
No.
It's not. No.
Right?
It's the price you pay to do what you love.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sweating. That's okay. I'm willing to sweat.
Yeah.
I'm willing to look like a sweaty person.
You look good.
Thank you, darling. I feel so much lighter than I did on some level. I mean, there's been a lot of processing happening. And I went to see my mother today. I just want to add this, and then we can probably wrap it up, I guess. We could talk all night. So I just want to warn you guys, we could just go on and on and on, but we won't. I went to see my mother today, and I try to wear like bright clothes when I go see her. And I've had a penchant recently for yellow, and I don't really wear yellow and yellow is kind of a hard color to wear anyway, but everything I'm buying now is yellow. And yellow is the solar plexus, right? It's the solar plexus, but it's in the tree of life. It's Tippereth. It's the heart.
Yeah.
So and it's joy. It's like so I'm just doing this yellow thing, and I wanted to see my mother. So every time I go there, I put yellow on now. And I just, because it brings joy and happiness.
Yeah.
You know, you see like a, you know, and I'm not saying that my wardrobe is like, oh my God, look at her. But like people look at this and they smile because it makes them think of flowers and,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just like happy.
Yeah.
So just even in that, you know, just
Right.
trying to like, so I go there to just sort of connect on that level with her.
Yes.
And I decided to like share my phone with her, and we were watching things on my phone, and she was like all interested. And then I had Glenn Kushner on, but she wasn't interested in that because he was just a head talking, right? So I was like, wait, I know what we'll watch. And we started watching Say Yes to the Dress,
Oh
because
yeah.
she can't hear it, but she's seeing the dresses and the thing, and she's like, "Ooh," and she's like, "No, no, no, not that." It was so funny. So we had
Oh,
like, I spent like, I don't know, maybe half hour looking at Say Yes to the Dress with her, just to
nice.
sort of, you know, and that in this like, what do I want to say? In this stark contrast to that poor guy who felt the need to have a picture of Trump's head on the side of his car. It was just like, it's like, oh, I kind of felt bad.
Yeah,
I kind of
it's
felt,
sad.
it's right. I mean, that you could
Yes,
just, it could just, things could be so much better.
I know.
The thing that breaks my heart about all of this is that there's so much wonderful and beautiful potential and
Mhm.
artistry that is wasted because we're too afraid to be happy.
Right,
That's what it comes down to. We're just
right.
too afraid to have joy. And so I'm trying to
I don't know if people
recognize.
know how. It's like I don't know if people know how to sustain joy, right? They get like glimpses of it, but it's sustaining it, it's keeping it up. It takes practice.
Well, I think the best practice is the practice of gratitude. I actually had this conversation with my husband today because he was moving through this energy as well. And he's usually, you know, he's the Aries Sag moon. He's usually all up in your grill, right? Like he's all ready for adventure, but he was so down, and it's so not like him. And I said, you know, I said, what happened? I said, and I felt it too, but I was able to like, because I had connection with my girlfriends, right? I plugged in, and that's what we're doing. I feel like we're plugging into each other tonight. And of course, anybody who watches this plugs into this energy as well. Um, I don't know. I think I lost my train of thought. Oh my God, Ona, that's so bad. Um,
Michael was feeling kind of like,
oh, and I said, thank you. Thank you. I said, you know, Michael, whenever I feel that way, I call it stinking thinking, my stinking thinking.
yeah, yeah,
I do an attitude of gratitude. It's you just start enumerating the reasons to be grateful. And sometimes there were days in my life when just waking up and breathing the air
yeah,
was the only thing I felt I could be grateful. Of course, it's never like that. You start thinking about this, and then you think about that, and then you think about this, and
yeah,
you think of all the things that are really working in your life. No matter how bad it is, it's there. There's something you can hold on to. And that's where it starts. And it grows. It grows. And one of the things that Taurus is connected to is gratitude.
yeah,
It's the gratitude is the keys to the kingdom. If you want abundance, you need to be grateful.
right,
We all need to be grateful for one another.
right,
And
right.
that includes the shit. We have to also come
Yeah,
to terms with being grateful for the pain that we are experiencing, and what are we learning from it, what is it exposing, what can we let go of, and what can we move towards. And that's really what it's, I think that's,
yeah.
so I will let you.
Exhausted, right? You get exhausted of being emotionally sent down this roller coaster
Yeah,
constantly. So,
yeah,
yeah,
you can't, yeah, you
good
can't, that's,
stuff.
and we have to remember also that, you know, people are profiting from our distress.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you don't want to feel distress, then you choose a different feeling and you apply yourself to the solution instead of screaming about the problem.
Right. Right. Exactly. Interesting.
I love moon shadows with you, Ona.
I love moon shadows too. We could sit here all night. I think
know.
people.
Well, oh, I'm a Cancer, right? And you're a Capricorn.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, it's just destiny.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are my best conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my best people. Yeah. That's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
I never really thought about that before. Interesting.
Well, now
All
we
right.
have something to think about. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us. I have no idea how long we kept you. I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. And don't lose hope. Just apply yourself in the ways that you can to create the reality or the world that you want. If you want to be happy and you want to feel connected and you want to be free to do what you want with your own body, then live. One of the tricks they teach you in these courses that teach you about success is act as if
That's right.
you have it already, and then give thanks for it. Thank
That is
you for the
exactly what I tell people to do for intentions for new moon. If you had trouble with getting it out there, pretend like it's already happened. Don't say I'm waiting for or I would like. That means you're still going to be waiting for and you're still going to
right.
want.
Thank you for the new car.
Yes.
Thank you for the new relationship. Thank you for enough
But
food.
somebody told me, it was really interesting. She goes, is it, we're thinking of like, what are the best words? She goes, is it okay to say, thank you for letting go of?
Yes.
So there was just a little window of letting go that she needs to do. And she said, and like, thank you for letting go of, like she's in the process, but weaved it so that she's allowing herself this little window to let go. And it just really, really cool conversations, really, really, really interesting. People need to understand what it's like to take care of themselves. We were during COVID not taking care of ourselves. We were trying to survive. That was different.
Well, I think that we have to, as a somebody who's a professional introvert, really, although you wouldn't know it because I'm all over. I'm always doing videos, but I lost my train of thought again.
Saturday night.
Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. No, I got you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and we want to thank all of you. I will leave you with the last word, like Lawrence O'Donnell, the last word with Ona.
Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, take care of yourselves for new moon. Take care of yourselves. Love yourself. Tell yourself you love yourself.
Yeah. Stand in front of the mirror.
You're perfect. You're exactly the way you want to be. You're intended to be. You're gorgeous. Your smile is magnificent. Okay. All that. Really bring those words into your space.
Bring the love.
Mm-hmm.
Bring the love and appreciation.
Yeah.
Something else Taurus teaches us, appreciation. I appreciate you, Ona.
You too. Love you.
Right. Goodbye, everyone. Namaste. We love you. See you next time for Moon Shadows.
Bye-bye.